Hey guys, Andre here, and welcome to Ask GX, where you ask and I answer. Now you sent in far too many questions for me to answer here, but I chose the best ones. I'm going to answer them right here, right now. So let's get started with question number 1. MasterDarlux asks, how do you get the 3DS capture card, and can we normal mortals get one too? Unfortunately, Master, most mortals can't use the official capture card, which is one I use from Nintendo. And that's because they only provide it to the largest video game websites like IGN, GameSpot, and GamesRadar, which is the one I'm partnered with. So I actually go into GamesRadar's office and use their capture card while there, and that's how I get all my great footage. TehDompie asks, what are your favorite soundtracks of all time? That's a good question, because there are a ton of soundtracks I like. Off the top of my head, Beyond Good and Evil is one of my favorites of all time, Total Annihilation on the PC, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, and off the top of my head, the Donkey Kong Country series. I still go back and listen to all those songs every now and then. I like have them looping in the background while I'm working on a video sometimes. I just love that music, so there you have it. Carlos asks, how long does it take to upload a regular video, and how much time do you spend editing your videos? Well, Carlos, it really depends on the video. Some of them are really easy to do, like our Game & Watches only take about half an hour to an hour, but that's pretty much us just playing through a game and recording it raw, no editing at all really. And those are pretty quick. Our video guides take anywhere from an hour to a couple hours to do, depending on how complicated the video is. And our analysis videos, the ones where we go through a trailer and analyze it, basically frame by frame, those can take anywhere from like 6 to 12 hours, depending on how complicated it is. So, yeah, it really just depends. The weird thing is, for me, I sometimes have no idea how long it's going to take. Like, I feel like some of the videos are going to be super quick to do and they end up taking far longer and vice versa. So, you never really know once you start how long it might take. ThumbBeforeFinger asks, GameXplain, what would you consider your greatest video guide? That's kind of like choosing your favorite child, Thumbs, but if I had to choose, I was really happy with how Mario Kart 7 turned out. I used a few new editing techniques at the time. That thing turned out really well and really complemented the strategies I was doing. Like where I would rewind the footage and show you exactly, the exact frame of when you needed to press a button to do a certain move. Or our Mario Tennis Open ones, where I showed how to unlock each character and gave you like the exact steps sequentially, showing what you needed to do it. I was actually really happy with how those turned out. So, and of course, I like our new Super Mario Bros. 2 video guide, just for how comprehensive that thing is. So make sure you check those out if you haven't already. Juventinorocks asks, how does it feel to work at Nintendo? Do you get exclusive products? Are the Nintendo products cheaper for you? So yeah, I used to work at Nintendo. That was in the call center, so nothing quite as cool as making games. Basically, I took people's calls all day and answered questions about Nintendo or troubleshooting things like hooking up a GameCube to an old TV or fixing a Nintendo DS with a cracked screen, things of that nature. As far as products go, yeah, they had a whole Nintendo store there where you could get products for, I think, maybe 15 to 20% off, and you could even get games like a week or two before they came out, so that was pretty cool. Overall, I had a really good time working there, although after about a year of taking calls, I got kind of bored of it, which is why it really worked out when IGN offered to hire me for a guy's position, so. Yoshitheyoshi asks, what is your personal favorite Mario game? That's a really hard question to answer. I mean, I really like most of the Mario series. But if I had to choose one absolute favorite game, I would probably still have to go with Mario 64. Just everything about that game was so perfect. Like, it just opened up like my eyes what 3D could do for gaming. You had all these massive worlds you could explore, tons of things to find, totally non-linear, so you could go wherever you wanted. You could find stars that weren't even hinted at yet in the game. It was an amazing experience. I love that game, and I just playing it a few days ago for our latest cool bit has made me realize how great that game is. So, but I gotta give props to Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Those games are also fantastic. I've been playing Mario Galaxy 2 recently, and that game also is probably one of my favorite games of all time. So, there you have it. Bendylegs 123 asks, what is your least favorite Mario game? That one's actually a lot easier to answer. Without question, Mario Sunshine. Keep in mind, Mario 64 is my favorite Mario game, so after 6 years of nothing, I was pretty hyped for the next Mario game. Then they came out with Mario Sunshine in 2002. It just did not live up to my expectations. The controls weren't great, the level design didn't really do much for me. It didn't feel very Mario-esque to me. Like, as I remember, besides Bowser, none of the enemies in the game are actually Mario enemies, or original Mario enemies. And the blue coins just ruined the end game for me. Yeah, I just didn't get into it, so that would be by far my least favorite core Mario game. nintendofanPortal asks, how did you come up with your YouTube name? This one actually goes way back. I've actually had the GameXplain name or the GameXplain website for over 10 years. I bought it back in 2001, I think. And actually came up with the idea. Okay, so back then I was working on a website called Nintendo Vision, where I actually provided gameplay tips similar to what I do now not quite up to the same quality, and there was no YouTube back then, so it was a lot harder to get my name out. But I wanted to expand beyond just Nintendo. So I wanted a game name or a website name that encompassed that, and I came up with GameXplain one day when I was talking to my dad. I used to live back, I was living back at home at the time. I was talking to my dad, like trying to come up with a website name. So I went downstairs after talking to him, then it hit me, GameXplain, because we explain games. So I came back upstairs, told my dad, he loved the name, and then I hopped online and registered it, which amazingly wasn't taken. In the years since, someone actually offered me $1,000 to buy that name. This is about 6-7 years ago, back when I wasn't really doing anything with it while I was working at Nintendo. And I didn't want to sell it. I thought I might use it again someday, which I am now, and I'm glad I didn't. So, yeah, it's worked out really well for us, and hopefully it'll continue to work well out in the future. Mr. Olimar94 asks, do you think Rare should go back to Nintendo? Honestly, at this point, no. The Rare that exists now is not the Rare that existed when Nintendo owned them. If they were to come back to Nintendo, the only benefit I would see would be having their whole catalog of games where it could have other developers work on them. That's not to say that people at Rare currently aren't talented or anything. I just don't think that talent lends itself best to the games we know Rare best for. So yeah, I don't think there's really any benefit for them coming back to Nintendo aside from giving them new IPs to work with, like Perfect Dark or Banjo-Kazooie, which I would love to see. I would love to see a new classic Banjo-Kazooie, or even a sequel to Nuts and Bolts, but I freaking love that game. So screw all the haters, Nuts and Bolts is awesome. RevShinji asks, do you like various animated TV shows such as Family Guy, American Dad, Cleveland Show, etc.? If so, what is your favorite? Yeah, I do like animated shows. I'll watch Family Guy occasionally, although I don't think it's been anywhere near as good as seasons 1 through 3. I'll catch American Dad every now and then. Cleveland Show I avoid like the plague. I really like Bob's Burgers recently. That show's been just really original and a lot of fun to watch. And South Park actually is another show I really enjoy still, even though they have their ups and downs, so... Neatfreax asks, GameXplain, did you ever expect to come this far in terms of popularity? You know, honestly, when I started this, I had no expectations. I just knew I was sick of working at various companies. I'm kind of a rebel, so I don't like working for other people. And I just wanted to strike out on my own and see how it went. And so far, I've been extremely happy with whatever success I've gained already. I'm so happy you guys watch my videos. Like, I really can't tell you enough how much that means to me. The fact that thousands of people enjoy what I do, and I'm able to make a living off it, which is crazy to me. So yeah, thank you all for the support. I had no idea I would ever become this successful. You know, when I started, I of course hoped I would be successful, but I didn't have any expectations of it. So I'm just glad it's gone this well so far, and hopefully we'll keep on growing, so thanks. And finally, we end with Mr. Nintendo622, who doesn't have a question so much as a statement. He says, "You're less ugly than I thought you were." Thanks, Mr. Nintendo, that means a lot. And thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out GameXplain.com for more videos on video games, and send in your questions, and we might answer them in our next episode of Ask GX. Bye.